Hello world and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I am nikkirenae and today is my winter/holiday reading TBR and review. Let's get some of the elephants out of the room. First of all, obviously I'm in a new setting. I'm spending winter break at my sister's house with my sister and my brother-in-law, so you've unlocked a new background. I've unlocked a new background. The other elephant in the room that I wanted to say was happy holidays! If you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, something else, if you're an atheist, any of the things, happy holidays. Also, my nails are color changing Harry Potter nails from Glamnetic. They're currently in the in-between stages. They're activated by heat, and I just took a shower not too long ago, so they're still trying to adjust to what they think the temperature is right now. But they are normally red, which I thought was just perfect, and I'm wearing my Grinch sweatshirt. My Grinch hoodie. And also, I think the only other thing that I really want to say is that I'm hoping to continue these videos and to do a sort of reading vlog, TBR, review situation for every season, and in which case you're probably wondering why I'm starting at the end of the year instead of the beginning, which you will understand with this TBR. I'm not trying to do all of these TBRs and these upcoming plans revolving around holidays. That's just kind of how it happened this time. But I am very excited to be able to continue to do this because I actually love the idea of seasonal reads and reading things corresponding to the season that they're written or like written in, that the plot is set in, and I think that's just so much fun. It just adds to the vibes. So like I said, this video is going to be the TBR and the review because I've actually already read these books. I'm not sure exactly how much of a vlog experience I will be able to get at my sister's house. Obviously, they're not going to stop me, but I feel like I'm intruding in their space a little bit, if you know what I mean. So, for this video at least, it's going to be after the fact. I've already read all these books, so the video is going to be split into two parts, and the first part will obviously be me introducing the TBR to you, and then the second part will be all of my reviews and ratings and all of my thoughts on these books because I have already read them. So without further ado, let's get into the TBR. First up, we have the Nutcracker by Alexandre Dumas. I don't know if I said that right. This was actually a Christmas gift because I'm trying to get into collecting the leather-bound classics from Barnes. I've already started collecting the paperback signature edition. Now they're coming out with hardcover signature editions, which are a little bit expensive, and they're a little bit more expensive than these. So I'm starting to collect these now, and I just thought that the Nutcracker was absolutely beautiful. Some of the designs don't completely line up, but I'm okay with that because it is absolutely beautiful. My sister, so their air just turned on. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm hoping not, but I'm gonna power through because the dogs are not bothering me currently, and that feels like borrowed time. The next book is The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. This book and the rest of the books in this TBR, I have been patiently waiting to read for over a year, and I will explain why coming up. This is a really good book, but this is the story, obviously, of the afterlife of Holly Chase, in which Holly Chase has died, and now she is part of what's called the Scrooge Project, if I remember correctly. What's called Project Scrooge, in which a lot of people come together into this business to help one person every year at Christmas to help rehabilitate them from being a Scrooge to being a better person in society. Next is Lovelight Farms by B.K. Borison. This is what has actually mostly inspired this video because B.K. Borison has written the Lovelight series, which is a quartet in which each book, while they are interconnected standalones, they follow a different couple and a different season, which starts with obviously Lovelight Farms for Christmas and winter. So it was just perfect and it has inspired this whole video and this whole seasonal reading idea. The problem was that I did not come across this series until after Christmas last year, and I'm stubborn. So yeah, I obviously had to wait all year to read it. The last book of this TBR was quite possibly the one that I was the most excited and anticipating all year, which is the newest release by my favorite author literally ever. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, where have you been? You obviously aren't very familiar with me, and that's okay, because now you are. Because the book I'm talking about is The Most Wonderful Crime by Ali Carter. This is one of my most prized possessions right now, because not only did I pre-order this as a birthday gift for myself, but I also got it signed and personalized. So I'm very proud to say that I have literally 99% of all of her books that are out, 3 of which are signed and 2 of which are signed and personalized. So I was the most excited for this book out of all of the books here. It is a cozy mystery romance thriller, and it is so much fun. Ali has a very, very special way of writing that is just, I eat it up every time. Ali describes The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year as Knives Out with kissing, and our main male character, who is Ethan Wyatt, is basically crafted after Chris Evans in Knives Out. So obviously he's perfect and you're gonna love him. This is the TBR that we will be talking about. And now we are going to go through, and I'm going to give you my ratings for all of them. And I'm going to go through in the actual order that I read them, because the order that I introduced them to you was not the order that I read them. So I'm going to rearrange them and start with the ratings and reviews now. And this will be spoiler free. I don't believe that I've mentioned that so far, but it will. Spoiler free. The first book that I read was Lovelight Farms by B.K. Borison, and I gave it 4 stars. I really liked it. I didn't expect it to be quite as short as it was, if I remember correctly. It's 320, no. So my copy is technically 321 pages because there's a few other things, like a bonus chapter and an excerpt from In the Weeds, which is the second book, but actually, only going to the epilogue, it is 290 pages. And I read it in like a day. I will say, there is some spice. It is an adult romance, and I actually brought this to Infusion Day, and I go to a children's hospital. So I really wasn't reading this like I was planning to, because it felt really weird to be reading a spicy adult romance at a children's hospital. That being said, I love this. Something that's a recurring theme in all these books, actually, is that my writer's mind anticipated just about all the twists and turns and things that was going to happen in all of these books, which I'm partly proud of and partly harboring a melancholic mood about, because I just don't really encounter twists anymore that I don't see coming. This is a fake dating trope between 2 best friends, Stella and Luca, and I love them. They're so fun. Stella is an owner of a Christmas tree farm, and she sort of lied on her application that she owned and ran the farm with her boyfriend, because she has been in love with her best friend forever since she met him. Thus, they begin a fake dating relationship to try and help Stella win a competition for the farm. It is so cute, so wholesome. I love literally, I love almost all of the characters. They're so funny, they're so, like, wholesome, and it's just such a good cozy read. It is a little bit spicy, but it's mostly just cutie patootie. Like, I loved Stella and Luca and their families. Like, Stella actually runs the Christmas tree farm with 2 of her bestest friends outside of Luca. who are amazing and I love them, and they are actually featured as a prominent figure of another couple for another book, which is so fun. I found it absolutely so fun to be able to pick out who was in the other books. I literally looked up who the other books were about so I could like recognize it, and it was so fun. It's just so fun. I'm going to read the back because I feel like that's just a staple that I do in my books now. Two best friends fake date. Two best friends fake date to reach their holiday happily ever after in this first romantic comedy in the Lovelight series. A pasture of dead trees, a hostile takeover of the Santa barn by a family of raccoons, and shipments that have mysteriously gone missing. Lovelight Farms is not the magical winter wonderland of Stella Bloom's dreams. In an effort to save the Christmas tree farm she's loved since she was a kid, Stella enters a contest with Instagram famous influencer Evelyn St. James. With the added publicity and the $100,000 cash prize, Stella might just be able to save the farm from its financial woes. There's just one problem. To make the farm seem like a romantic destination for the holidays, she lied on her application and said she owns Lovelight Farms with her boyfriend. Only there is no boyfriend. Enter best friend Luca Peters. He just stopped by for some hot chocolate and somehow got a farm and a serious girlfriend in the process. But fake dating his best friend might be the best Christmas present he's ever received. 4 stars. I told, 4 stars. I gobbled it up, I loved it, and I'm so excited to continue the series. Next up is, I think, my second favorite book of the TBR. And it was The Afterlife of Holly Chase. I have wanted to read this book for a really long time. I've had it for a lot of years, and I just haven't mustered up the courage to read it because I didn't want to dislike it. This is something that I got as a recommendation from one of my favorite booktubers ever, who unfortunately does not post anymore because she is off living her amazingly fantastic adult life and having the best time. And that booktuber is Emma Books. She used to say, I don't know if she still does this, but she used to say that she would read this book every year for the holidays, and I can understand why. There are so many little details and hints and red herrings and all the things that you can go back through and you just keep discovering more and more that's happening. And something that I just found out that I did not catch, and I've been thinking about this since I saw BK Borison post about it, but there is a Ghost of Christmas Past, or a few references in Lovelight Farms. And I just thought I would mention that because of Holly. So I'm going to read the back and then talk a little bit about it this time so that what I've just said makes more sense. On Christmas Eve, 5 years ago, Holly was visited by 3 ghosts who showed her how selfish and spoiled she'd become. They tried to convince her to mend her ways. She didn't, and then she died. Now she's stuck working for the top secret company Project Scrooge as the latest Ghost of Christmas Past. So far, Holly's afterlife has been miserable, but this year's Scrooge is about to change everything. Isn't that so fun that I read this and there are apparently Ghost of Christmas Past references that I completely missed, and then I read this, and Holly is the Ghost of Christmas Past? Are you kidding me? There are so many coincidences that we are going to have to discover in this. I'm going to have to explain, and that is only the first one. So many. I think there's 2. So I really, really like how this is set up. It goes through Holly's life before she became the Ghost of Christmas Past, and it goes through her night as a Scrooge meeting all of the ghosts, and then exactly what happened afterwards. And it's horrible and amazing and so cool how all of this has worked out, and it's so wholesome and so sad, and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars, which, if you know me, giving anything 5 stars is actually a really big deal because, like I said, I'm at my sister's house. We have a running joke that I am easily entertained but a hard reviewer. She is not easily entertained and an easy reviewer. So we could read the same book and love it, which is not a big feat for me because I tend to like almost everything that I read, but is a big feat for her because she does not like everything that she reads. But then if I give it a 5 stars, it's a big deal because I save my 5 stars. As in like Hazel Grace Lancaster, The Fault in Our Stars, saving her 10 for pain, I save my 5 stars. Whereas my sister could give it 5 stars and that's just normal. The fact that I gave this 5 stars is huge. It is such a good book. It's not very long. It is the longest of this TBR, but at that rate, it's literally only like 400 pages. 385. So it's not even 400 pages, but every chapter, every page, every line counts, and it is so good. So good. So good. Like I said earlier, I did see a lot of the twists that were coming. I guessed a lot of the things that were happening. I did not guess everything, but I did guess a lot of it. I think my sister and brother-in-law were getting very annoyed with me as I was getting to the end and things were being revealed. But I was having the best time. Absolutely recommend. Next, if you can't guess, is The Nutcracker. This is the shortest book of the TBR at 142 pages. I gave this 3 stars because I appreciated it for what it's doing, but I did not really like it in relation to the rest of the books. It is my least favorite, absolutely, of this video, but there is nothing bad about it. I was definitely confused at the beginning. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. And I don't super know the actual story of the Nutcracker outside of like ballet perspectives, and I'm not even a dancer. Mostly what confused me was that it starts with one character who then gets into the story of the Nutcracker, which is actually the history of the Nutcracker, and then it tumbles into another story, so it was like a story and a story and a story, and it was kind of hard to follow, especially given the language and the grammar because it is an older story, but I did have a lot of fun. I understood everything that was going on. Overall, I did like it. I don't think I would read it again. This isn't one of those things that I'm like, I'm going to read it every Christmas now, but I did like it. I did enjoy it, and I'm not mad that I have it and that I read it. And then, of course, the last book of this video is The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year, and if you couldn't guess already, I gave it 5 stars. Which means that this video is actually really freaking successful, because I've given 2 of 4 books 5 stars, and like I said, I'm a hard reviewer. So I will start by reading the back, not the back, the inside, because it's a hardcover, not a paperback, so it's not on the back is just blurbs. Knives Out gets a rom-com twist in this rivals to lovers Christmas romance mystery from New York Times bestselling author Allie Carter. The bridge is out, the phones are down, and the most famous mystery writer in the world just disappeared out of a locked room 3 days before Christmas. Meet Maggie Chase and Ethan Wyatt. She's the new queen of the cozy mystery. He's Mr. Big-Time Thriller guy. She hates his guts. He thinks her name is Marcy, no matter how many times she's told him otherwise. But when they both accept a cryptic invitation to attend a Christmas house party at the English estate of a reclusive fan, neither is expecting their host to be the most powerful author in the world, Eleanor Ashley, the Duchess of Death herself. That night, the weather turns, and the next morning, Eleanor is gone. She vanished from a locked room, and Maggie has to wonder, is Eleanor in danger? Or is it all some kind of test? Is Ethan the competition? Or is he the only person in that snowbound mansion she can trust? As the snow gets deeper and the stakes get higher, every clue will bring Maggie and Ethan closer to the truth and each other. Because this Christmas, these 2 rivals are going to become allies, and maybe more, if they have any hope of saving Eleanor, assuming they don't kill each other first. As it suggests, this is the story of Maggie Chase and Ethan Wyatt as they travel to the estate of a fan for Christmas, only to find out it is Eleanor Ashley, who is an 81-year-old author who has written 99 mystery novels and is the most powerful, famous author in the world, and she's just invited them to her home for Christmas. Neither of them really likes Christmas, so it is very fun and interesting to see how their minds change about things, whether that's the holiday or each other, etc. And like I said, Allie is just such a great author. She has such a way of making sure literally everything counts, very similarly to the Afterlife of Holly Chase. Every chapter, scene, moment, look, line, dialogue, everything is counting for something else, and there is absolutely never anything that's in her books that is a filler. She never does fillers, and I love it. She does really well at writing fast-paced books, but like at the same time, the progression always makes sense. It's never like an insta-love thing. It just makes sense. So if you're ever looking for a book that has short chapters that you can read very quickly but still get so much out of it, Allie is your person. So this is a hardcover, and it just came out a few months ago, so I do not believe that a paperback is out yet unless it's foreign countries. But because this is so big, most of the chapters were only like a few pages long. So genuinely, it felt like it was taking no time to read this, and I loved it. I saw the twist. I saw a lot of the things that were happening, but that's just me because I literally started reading because of Allie, so I'm very attuned and accustomed and comfortable with her style, and I can spot these things, which I just love for myself. But it is such a fun book, and it is so good, and it has gotten so much recognition, and I'm so happy for her for that, especially because, if you didn't know, this was actually one of the book of the month picks for the December boxes, which I actually did get. So now I have 2 copies of this. So I have a special pre-ordered, signed and specialized hardcover and the book of the month hardcover. And honestly, it just makes sense because I think literally most of the books that I have by Allie, except for like 3, I have more than 1 copy of. So this is just gonna fit right in with my collection. So with that all being said, these are the books that I read for the holidays. This is my December, winter, Christmas. It's really Christmas, but I'm going to try and say seasonal because they're not all going to follow the holidays. So this is my first seasonal TBR and review video, and if you have any recommendations for the other seasons outside of just the Lovelight series, please let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have a great end of your year, and I hope you stick around. Thank you so much for watching, and of course, se aprecio mucho y mi corazón es tuyo para siempre. Adios! Oh my god, I almost forgot. I have to adjust you really quickly. But the last thing that I wanted to say is that the other coincidence that I mentioned was that I'm actually reading The Iron King by Julie Kagawa, and this is it's the weirdest thing ever. All 3 of these books, the main character's last name is Chase. So we have Maggie Chase, Holly Chase, and Megan Chase. Out of all the books that I own, all the books that I've heard of, and I own over 600 books, possibly the only 3 where the main character's last name is Chase, I was reading at the same time.